The Marketing Results Club presents Jerry Bernhardt with the Trends Transforming B2B Marketing. Jerry Bernhardt is an executive search consultant specialized in marketing. He was named by LinkedIn as being among the top 1% of U.S. recruiters for social recruitment excellence. In this interview, he shares advice on how B2B marketing professionals can use periods of economic instability, such as the coronavirus, to review their career goals and consider their next steps. Here's what he had to say.
I tell everybody, look, we really have no control over what happens in the short term, particularly in this case. We don't know how long this is all going to last. And so you can't really change it, so you have to accept it. We don't have the power to wave a magic wand and make this go away. But what you can do is we're all spending more time at home, which is, great. You're spending time with your family, and you're working. A lot of people are working at home. You're finding yourself probably with a little more extra time on your hands than you might have had otherwise, particularly if you're not commuting back and forth. And I'm kind of telling everybody, take a little bit of that time. And I know it's not easy right now because you're thinking more about, am I going to, what's going to happen to my job? But this is a really great time to think more long-term about where do I want to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. And a lot of people, we've been through a great run in the last 10, 12 years, right? Business has been growing. People have been hiring. It's been full speed ahead, We've been heads down. And now all of a sudden, this happens. And so this kind of gives us all maybe kind of a chance to take a deep breath, right? And say, all right, are things going in the direction I want them to go in? And so an opportunity for people to, think longer term, over which you do have more control, and think about the kind of role you want to be in, either with your current company or maybe another company. Maybe you've kind of come to realize that you've gone as far as you can with your current employer, and you're going to be looking for a bigger challenge, and those will come. There's no question about it. We'll come out of this, and there will be opportunities for sure. We don't know if this is going to, we're all going to bounce back fast, or if this is going to be more like a U-shape or an L-shape or whatever shape it is. This is just a really good time to think about your career from a longer-term perspective, and from where I am, marketing will always be, obviously, a very key function within any organization, whether it be B2B, B2C. Marketing's changing. So as long as you're keeping up with those changes, and maybe this is also a good time, if you have an opportunity, to bone up on maybe areas that you feel, you need some improvement on, right? In fact, I've been through, 4 or 5 pretty steep economic downturns during the course of my business here. And I have to tell you, looking back on all of these, I came out stronger than when I came in. And part of the reason is because, all right, I don't have a lot of stuff to work on now, as far as day-to-day recruiting and the work I do. But I can certainly work on ways to position myself so I come out of this thing stronger. And I've done that, whatever it might have been. I think during the last downturn, during the Great Recession, I spent a lot of time on my website making sure that when that was over with, I had a great web presence, and, I think I created my blog. I did a lot of things. Started doing a lot more writing, and so as we were starting to come out of that, I wanted to make sure that that my business was stronger than when it went in. And you can do that with your career. There's things you could learn. And learning nowadays, 20, 30 years ago, options were a lot more limited. You didn't have nearly the online learning capabilities we have these days. And a lot of these things are low cost. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And, maybe there's a certain area of marketing where you feel you're a little weak. And we all have our weaknesses and strengths, right? And maybe there's something that you've kind of said to yourself, boy, this is one area where I'd really like to get a little stronger in. Well, now's your chance, It's not always easy, and I'm not, suggesting it is, because we're going through a big crisis right now, and we're concerned about our families, and there's a lot of things that that worry us at night right now. But you know, you should, if you can, maybe try to set a little time aside for yourself, right? And your ability to continue to grow in your career, and that's really, I guess, about the best advice I can give folks right now. And things will change as a result of this. I mean, I think that the movement toward work at home, which was rapidly accelerating in the online world anyway before this happened, you know, there's no turning back now. I mean, we all know with so many people working at home now that weren't before, a lot of these people are going to go, wait a minute, I didn't really need to come into the office to do what I do. You know, there's going to be some realization that maybe a lot of these folks don't really need to be in the office. I was having those arguments with clients just 6 months ago when they were calling me about positions they wanted to fill in e-commerce or digital, and they were saying, well, we really want this person, you know, in office. They were really struggling. It wasn't too long ago. Clients were having a hard time finding people, and in some markets it was really challenging because the supply of talent, you know, was really getting tight. And but they were really holding fast to the idea that they needed to be in the office. And I understand there's obviously a lot of advantages to that. Not the least of which is, you know, collaborating with other team members and things of that nature. But I was kind of presenting another point of view that, you know, I'm working with a lot of companies in this space, including some of your competitors, that are hiring these people on a more remote basis, and a lot of them are really knocking it out of the park. Now, work at home is not for everyone, obviously. Not everyone is set up to do it. Not everyone wants to be a lone ranger. You know, I get that. But for those who do this maybe for the first time and they're kind of beginning to get comfortable with it, why I think a lot of the individuals who are now working remote may end up, you know, the next time they look for an opportunity, they may, you know, specifically want to seek out a job that allows them to do that. In my space, in all the digital and e-commerce work that I do, that very much lends itself. A lot of those roles lend themselves to working out of office because it's all done, you know, by computer. Of course, now with all the communication tools we have, makes it easy to stay in touch. And I actually was, I think, as I think back, you know, I placed a handful of candidates, more than a handful, who were, in fact, I just placed one, who's going to be working as a loyalty manager for a business, and she's remote. And I last year I did a number of those, and at last check, I think pretty much all of them are doing really well. Part of that, of course, depends on whether they have some. It helps to have a little bit of prior experience with this, because if you've never done it before, you know, it's just a whole different experience. But I think in most cases they had some kind of past experience with it. They were comfortable with it. Here came a great opportunity to do it full time, and for them, it's worked out well. And so anyway, there's going to be this shift is, there's no question, this shift is going to pick up speed, no doubt about it.
Thanks for listening to this interview for the Marketing Results Club podcast. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates, and if you have an opinion on the latest trend or a success story to share, or you'd like to compete for the B2B Marketing Results Award, please visit marketingresults.club for details. And by the way, I'm Derek Little, CEO and freelance B2B copywriter at trailblazerwriting.com. I provide results-driven copy for software firms selling to mid-sized and large clients. For tips on improving your copy, check out my book on Amazon.com, The B2B Marketer's Journey, or visit my website for free resources on improving your marketing results.